President Trump's election has further exposed the political divide in the United States. And sometimes it takes a mass movement like this to confront a problem so deeply rooted. Millions of people around the world participated in the Women's March last week. It was the largest demonstration in American history and a bold plea to forge a new path for the years ahead. But the March Forward for Equal Rights didn't end there. Thousands of other activists and a number of celebrities rallied at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah this past weekend. Actress Isha was there leading chants and educating others about the power of peaceful assembly. She said this on Twitter: "Taking to the street to voice your opinion in the company of like-minded individuals is the most American thing you can do." Well, Isha joins us now to discuss how being vocal has the potential to produce political change.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Thanks
so good to have you with us.
Thrilled to be here.
So you were out there in Park City. Why? What drove you to take to the streets?
Well, I mean, I think you said it in the open. That was a monumental day. And in so much as we were looking at photos of the demonstration in New York, those demonstrations happened in all 50 states, on all 7 continents, and not just in the major cities in all 50 states, but in almost every major city in every American state. I think it was a powerful message, and I wanted to be a part of it for my own reasons, and also because my mother was a student organizer when she was my age. She was in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. I understand how powerful organized assembly, the freedom of speech and assembly that we have in this country, how powerful it can be. And I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to be a part of it.
You and Connie Britton got the crowd out there to take a people's pledge, people's oath. Talk to me about that moment and why that was important to you.
You know, I think a lot of people after, in the aftermath of this election are feeling a lot of despair. And that oath was really about reminding people that they have power to change the state of affairs in this country, and that to energize them. I wanted people, and I actually left that day feeling energized, feeling optimistic. And, that was about telling people, it's up to you, it's up to all of us to defend our American principles. It's not going to be done for us. And the political system that we have here is representative of the people, and it's the people's job to keep an eye on our elected representatives and hold them to the fundamental principles that we hold dear. A
lot of people are asking this question: where does this energy, you talked about feeling energized and more optimistic, where does it go? What does it do next? Does this become a movement like the Tea Party, or is it like Occupy, which kind of had all this kind of this galvanizing effect, but didn't really achieve anything? I mean, what's your thought?
I think that's a really good question. With Occupy and with the Tea Party, they did fizzle, but I don't think we were in the state of political crisis that we're in now. And when I think about the history of this country and what organized protest can do and how it does translate into ongoing political energy organization, every single great move forward for social freedoms in this country, for personal freedoms, has resulted from assembly, from nonviolent assembly, from the abolitionist movement to suffrage, to Jim Crow and the civil rights movement, to Stonewall. Every single leap forward we've made socioculturally has come from people protesting and assembling and speaking out, and then taking that power and that energy and putting it into action. And I think that oath at the end of that march was not about, hey, let's not all commiserate and talk about how disappointed we are in where we are right now. Let's all talk about the fact that if people had given up during slavery or during suffrage or during the fight for civil rights or during the fight for gay rights, we wouldn't be here now. My mom drank out of a colored water fountain, not my grandmother. That's one generation ago. So we can sit here and say the world is, ending and I give up, but we don't have an excuse. We've got to keep fighting. That's the nature of who we are as a country. And I think, we had a big swing forward with this last president, where we made a lot of progress on social justice issues. And, typically, culture is a pendulum, and now we swung backward. And that's how I feel about it. I think that's actually how the majority of Americans feel about it. I think when you look at these protests, the biggest protest in the history of the country, and probably the globe. The fact that there was so much sympathetic protest in other countries shows you that the people who are marching this weekend are on the right side of history.
As a creative, such as yourself, as an actor, what is the role of art, of culture at a time like this, when there is so much division, when there's so much fear? how do you respond with your work? I mean, how should Hollywood, how should creatives respond?
You know, I just want to say for the record that I'm first and foremost an American. And I'm not speaking up because I'm famous or I work in Hollywood, and I think a lot of people like to dismiss actors or creatives by saying, well, who cares what you think? What do you know? I don't know anything more than you. I'm just a passionate patriot who cares about the future of this country. I pay taxes like you, I vote like you. I'm here because I care about this country, not because I work in the entertainment business. And so I'm hoping as an artist that I'm just able to reach people who may be a fan of mine on both sides of the aisle, engage with them, talk with them in a respectful way. I engage with people online all the time, not to tell them they're wrong, but just to try to bring people out of this kind of calcified separation we've fallen into, which I think is incredibly destructive.
And probably incredibly difficult in the months ahead to bridge.
Yeah, well, you know, we have two options. We can bury our heads in the sand, we can get out there, we can engage in dialogue, and we can fight for the principles that we believe in this country, and that's my goal.
Isha, such a pleasure.
What a joy.
Thanks
for having me.
Thank you.